Welcome back, everyone. We are here live at the Grovian Doll Museum for our third program of the day. We are here with Michael Canadas. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi. So you've given us two wonderful, long seminars that have just been fabulous, and we've enjoyed every minute.
Thank you.
But we are excited to also sprinkle in a few what we're calling mini talks.
Mini talks.
And our next one is called Poupee Statuette. And I'm pretty excited because we have two very different groupings of dolls right here that you're going to tell us a little bit about. So get us started.
Well, we put out the Poupee Statuette on the table all by her lonesome, and it just didn't seem right. And then it got me thinking that sometimes in life you have perfect timing, and sometimes your timing is off. But here we have two products that have so much in common, but so many years apart. So this is the Poupee Statuette, and this is the first Barbie, and then the first Barbie's inspiration is Build Lily. Now you might not think that these have anything in common, and yet these three items totally have something in common. Build Lily was not really made for originally to be a toy for children. It was a novelty for adult males to display. Barbie, who was inspired by Build Lily, was meant to be a toy. But here's the thing that they have in common. They have female figures. The Poupee Statuette is really an art doll created from 1880 to 1885. Lady dolls from 1880 to 85, they're starting to wane out. It was a really not a good time to introduce a lady doll because there was the bébé craze. But a young couple, 24, the husband, George, Marie, 17, started a company called, their trademark was R&C, and they created the Poupee Statuette. And you can see the R&C mark and the Poupee Statuette. And this is an original stand for a Poupee Statuette. What they have in common really is the form of the bodies, Barbie, and the Poupee Statuette, because I think it's pretty well known that the #1 Barbie had a stand identical to this. Mm-hmm. The only difference is the placement of the, it's kind of on an angle, I believe. And the Poupee Statuette is right in the heels, as in Barbie is also in the heels too. So this doll had molded high heel shoes like a Barbie would have feet, and here you can see.
Look at those wonderful shoes.
And the stand would go right up the heel of the shoe. Now, the intention for the Poupee Statuette was not to be a plaything. It was meant to be an art object, something that you would display in your home. And when they were costumes, this couple was very Radiguet Cordonnier, is what they're known as, the company. The dolls were meant to be costume dolls. So you would have Joan of Arc or Marie Antoinette or Eleanor of Aquitaine, any kind of over-the-top piece. That's why today we very rarely see them with original clothes, because early collectors did not understand that. Early collectors also call this doll Miss Busty, because that's another thing that she has in common with Barbie, is they have a full molded bust. Now, this costume, I'm not ever going to remove this, but you can see that that's a fully developed bust. Now, one thing I think is very interesting about the Poupee Statuette is the costume. Well, we'll get into the costume because the costume is phenomenal. But what is very interesting about the Poupee Statuette is if you put them in a cabinet with other French fashion dolls, they appear to be out of proportion. The hands, the length of the arms, the feet, the body. In actuality, all of the other dolls are not in a realistic proportion. She actually is. Because if you look at the size of her face and look at the size of her hands, in art we do this, which is you put your hand in front of your face, and your hands should be at least the size of your face.
These hands are absolutely phenomenal.
They're phenomenal. And they're known for that. They're known for the beautiful sculpture in the hands. You can have various poses, Rachel. You can have straight down arms. You can have a bent arm with a straight. You can have two bent arms. There's a lot of variations. And there's also variations of the head models that they used. They did not manufacture the porcelain parts. They had those subcontracted out. But they were used, made to their specifications. And you can't find the dolls with high-heeled shoes, molded shoes, which is bisque, and then they would cover with fabrics, or in her case, she's got leather that's deteriorated, but it's still there. Or you can find them with bare feet, beautiful bare feet. So it's a really an essential doll to have in a French fashion study group. Now, you asked about the costume. I think that this is really one of the Grovians' finest original costumes from the 1880-85 period. This was probably not done by the shop. This was probably done by a dressmaker to do exactly what they intended it to be, a counter model where you could look and see the pretty things. And one of the reasons, if you look at the seaming in the back and look at the piping, and what I think is amazing is look at how they put weights.
Oh, to keep
like
it
almost
down.
like
Wow.
drapery weights that you'd have in draperies.
Amazing.
All covered in satin, and it's in amazing condition. It's really, and then look at all the ruching and the pleats and the buttons. I mean, I could open this up, but I really don't want to be the one to do it when and cause some damage. So, essentially, the Poupee Statuette is Barbie's great-great-great-great-grandmother. And then you realize that Barbie was right on in the time frame to become the #1 doll of all time. It was, Ruth Handler was at the right place at the right time for the success of the company and her financial success and culturally in our culture. The Poupee Statuette was just off. They were 10 years too late to really make a mark, but yet they're still wonderful to collect, and they have a great artistic appeal. And
they're just wonderful.
they're one of my favorites of the French fashion dolls, because if you really wanted to make miniature clothing that would look like adult clothing, this would be the doll to have for that. And she's not in a long-term relationship with this gentleman, but since Barbie is here with her boyfriend G.I. Joe, we thought it was kind of unfair. And also too, what's also wonderful about the dolls is you can put things in their hands because they're made to hold
Love
things.
how she was just able to grab those gloves right there.
And we have a nice Barbie collection here. It's not a huge thing, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that collect Barbies, and I hope when you go to the UFDC museum this next month that you share that with the world, because they've got a fantastic Barbie
phenomenal.
collection.
It is.
With Bradley Justice as their
We hope to get an interview with Bradley.
Yes. I'll be tuning in.
Thank you, and sharing our video. Yes. Well, this was fabulous. What is the name of the company? RNC.
RNC, and also too for your viewers, they created other toy products. So their trademark was RNC. Other kinds of toys, not just dolls, but it's Poupee Statuette. The company was known as Radiguet Cordonnier, which was an unusual thing because it was the husband and wife's name in her maiden name and his surname. That's very unusual to find. The company didn't last long, and their marriage didn't last long either.
That
But
happens.
that happens, and sometimes when you're in business and business goes sour, it sours the relationship. But they were young, and they went on to have, I'm sure, a life. But you know, their Poupee Statuette is here as a survivor. You know, there are not hundreds of these that have survived, but I would imagine there's maybe under 100. That's not a lot of dolls.
No, that's not.
No, and that short time frame of, you know, 5 years to be in business is very short.
If you have one, you have a treasure.
You really do, and it is an essential part of French fashion doll collecting.
Wonderful. What do our viewers get to look forward to for today? What's coming up next?
What's next? I don't know. What would you like to have next?
We have some requests, so we're gonna hit the request line, and we know you're being a little coy because you got some stuff under wraps for today. We're very excited.
We may go back to the world of French fashion dolls later today.
Well,
And
I know
then
that you have a few.
tomorrow can be bébés. We'll go to bébés.
And possibly and hopefully a little tutorial by David.
Well, you know, I keep pushing for that.
Maybe we'll
So,
get a petition.
Hopefully that will work.
All
Bye-bye,
right.
Ruby Lane. Thank you,
Bye.
Rachel.